Hello everybody, welcome again to Millionaire Autobahn. My name is Martin, welcome to my channel. Today I'm actually talking about something a bit different. As I said in the first video, I'm actually not where I used to be before. So my main residence though is still Las Vegas, Nevada. And my whole family is there, so that's why I'm theoretically still there. And as I said in other videos before and mentioned online, that Las Vegas, to be honest, while it has the incentive of zero state tax, overall it's not really a livable place. I know that others like Graham Stephan, I mentioned before, Andre Cheek, they actually all moved to Las Vegas from California because of the zero state tax. But I personally must admit, to me Las Vegas is actually kind of boring after a while. There's not really much to do, and just to save taxes, it doesn't make really any sense. There's only a bunch of strip malls, it doesn't have any character, and there's, as said, not really much to do besides the strip and downtown. But that gets old after a while. So I'm more of a person who actually likes to see people outside, who likes to venture out, going on hikes, likes to be in green, which you don't have in Vegas. So one thing that would come to your mind being in the US would be Florida. Again, there you don't have any state tax. While Florida is actually one of my favorite states, it also has become kind of, let's say, more problematic over the last years. And not everybody feels comfortable living in Florida. Even though I do like the Orlando area, I have lived there for many years. And I just actually lived there like 3 years ago in a nice area called Lake Nona. However, I do prefer Miami Beach. It's a very hustling and bustling area, but nevertheless you still have kind of the same issue as you have in many American cities, that after a certain amount of time it is kind of a bit boring because people are not really going out. You only see the tourists in Miami Beach, but the locals, they're kind of not going out. And that kind of, to me, is the whole point of life. Being outside, seeing people, sitting together, laughing, not using the phone, that to me is an important part of life. And so I was looking around, where can I find that? Where can I find a good environment for doing my financial journey, for doing day trading, for buying houses, fixing them up, selling them, stuff like that. My next step was actually Spain. However, Spain, the biggest issue there again is the taxes. But life is way better in Spain than it is in the US. You have hustling and bustling areas where people are outside. So let me show you right here. So you have things where people actually outside and looking at some performance from a local dance group. And this, to just give you an idea, is at 12 o'clock at night when it starts. Usually stuff in America is closed at 10. So people here are way different when it is about going outside and living life. This is also in a very busy area in Malaga. Again, late at night, thousands of people outside. This again in a different area in Malaga, people outside living their life, which I think is very, very important. It's not all about making money all the time. It is also about your life. You have to enjoy life. And also what you have there is like great nature for hiking. It's green. It's still summer, pretty much most of the time of the year. So overall this is a very, very great area. However, the biggest issue with Spain is the taxes. Spain is a very high tax country, so overall when you do day trading there or when you want to do a house flip, you will pay quite a bit of capital gains tax. So when you do a house flip, first of all, when you buy a house, you right then and there have to pay about 7% taxes on buying the house right there. Then you fix it up, and when you sell it, then again you pay then the capital gains taxes when selling the house, which is like 28%. So overall, it is not really an ideal environment when it comes to trading, when it comes to house flipping and stuff like that. Nevertheless, Spain is absolutely awesome. It's a great country. I can recommend it for everybody to come here, to maybe work here for a while and to enjoy life, which is the most important thing Spaniards do. For them, it's not about having the newest car, having the coolest house, having the newest gadget. They don't care about those things. They care about life. They care about family. They care about friendship. That is their important part, which I really value. However, again, coming back to the parts with the taxes, I then was kind of looking around and see, okay, where could you lower your tax amount even more but still have a good life? So you could move to other countries like Dubai. Then again, you need some visas and a lot of administrative things going on in order to do that. Dubai itself is not really that cheap to live, whereas Spain is kind of very cheap to live. So you kind of have to calculate for yourself, okay, how much taxes would I pay? How much administrative fees would I pay in order to move to another country? However, then one thing came up which I was quite curious about, and that is Costa Rica. So Costa Rica is an American colony, and I found out that there's something called the Puerto Rico Act 60 that was implemented about 4 years or so ago, I guess, after the devastating hurricanes and so on. They wanted to get people, high net worth people, into the country to stay there spending the money but not paying taxes. And that is actually quite interesting, that once you actually become what's called a bona fide resident, and you stay there for at least 183 days in Puerto Rico, you actually would pay 0 tax. And I mean not state tax, I mean federal tax. And that is very, very interesting, because you would actually, on all the capital gains you make, you would actually pay 0 federal tax. So how would you actually be able to get that? As I mentioned, you would have to move there and stay there for at least 183 days. Then there's a couple of steps you would have to go through to prove all those things. But there's some caveats, like for example, the Chapter 2 of that act, that you actually have to be a resident, stay 183 days, and also pay a $5,000 one-time fee to satisfy the government that you actually want to stay there and do not pay taxes. In addition, there's some sort of, if you will, a yearly contribution of $10,000 to a non-profit organization in Puerto Rico. And that, of course, you know, adds again kind of maybe a problem. You really would have to make good money in order to justify the $10,000 a month. And then one other additional point is, after the first 2 years, or in the first 2 years, by the end of the first 2 years, you have to have a property bought in Puerto Rico. Also, you cannot have residency before that time. I think 2020 is like the cutoff. If you lived in Puerto Rico before that time, you are not eligible for this particular tax incentive. Nevertheless, think of it this way. If you're a US citizen going to another country, is always a hassle. You have to have visas, the correct visas. Then you have two different tax agencies you have to deal with. The IRS, which you still have to pay taxes no matter where you live in the world, and then the local tax agency that is in the country you live in. Always think about that. So with Puerto Rico, you have kind of the best of both worlds. As a US citizen, you can just fly there, you don't even need a passport, you just need your ID. You can just go there and start creating your residency. First, you might rent an apartment, you change your address to the Puerto Rico address, and you start going through this process to get approved for these tax incentives. And since you want to stay there 183 days a year anyways, buying property kind of makes sense. So now think of this a little bit. If you say Puerto Rico it's a nice island in the Caribbean, it's pretty much summer all the time, so you could say you stay there in the wintertime, like what a lot of people do going to Florida in the wintertime. Because in the wintertime in Puerto Rico, it's still 80-90 degrees, it's still warm, you can still go swimming in the ocean, it's still actually a great place to be. So you could say you stay there from January till March, April, and then again from October to the end of the year, so that you get your 183 days together. And the other 180 days, you can stay somewhere else. You can stay maybe in Spain. You could stay in Thailand, in Malaysia, somewhere Southeast Asia, where again it is summer, where again you can enjoy life. And that to me, as I said, is kind of a very important part, to enjoy life. Because life is not just about making money, saving taxes, all those things. It really is about living life. Because at the end of the day, when you're like 70, 80 years old and you sit down, yes, you can say, oh wow, I've become a millionaire, I have like $100 million in my bank account. But overall, what have I done? What have I seen? Who have I spent time with? Those are the things that are at the end more important than having a lot of money in your bank account. So see this journey for becoming a millionaire or having a lot of money, not only on the money side, always see it on the side of your life. You only have one life, so you have to live your life. And yes, there's risk included in that, moving around, as said, getting visas. So Puerto Rico, to me, is actually a very good option. Properties are okay priced, and I'm sure you can customize the property to your liking. And overall, the nice thing again is it is still a US tax territory, if you will. So you just have to do a separate form. So the form is called 8898 that you have to fill out for the IRS when you have tax residency in Puerto Rico. And so the nice thing about that is that you only have to deal actually with one tax agency, the IRS. And since you have done your taxes over the years with the IRS, it's not so hard to actually implement this, let's say, additional step to save quite a bit on your federal income taxes, because it's zero. And that's just amazing. So overall, you can actually live your life. You can be in a Caribbean island for at least 183 days a year. The rest of that time you can be somewhere else, and you can save 100% of your taxes. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So this thing will run out, I think, in like 2035, so you still have time to actually do that. I don't know if it will be extended after that. But overall, I think this is a pretty good deal where you can still kind of be in the US. You can fly easily to Miami in no time. There's dozens of flights a day, and you still actually have all the conveniences. So overall, I think Puerto Rico is a very good choice for saving taxes and still enjoying life. And still, for the rest of the year, do whatever you want to do. So I will actually explore this idea, not this year, but next year. I will start exploring that idea myself and try to set up that residency in Puerto Rico. Let me know what you think about it. If this is a good idea, or if you don't think it's a good idea, let me know in the comments below. And thank you for subscribing to this channel. And I will try to bring you other new updates in the future on day trading, on investing for regular people. And don't forget to check out my blog at millionaireautobahn.com, where you get daily updates on things happening in the stock market, on my day trading journey, on whatever is going on in the business world. So check that out. Always remember that this is no financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a regular person like anybody, trying to come up with ideas and solutions for your journey in creating wealth, just a little bit out of the box. All right? So thanks again. My name is Martin, and I see you next time. Bye.